have time to figure it out. So welcome everybody to the stream today. That should solve that problem. We have the Civ draft now, and here it is for the best of 9 grand final. Lierey's on the left-hand side, Viper's on the right. Unlike the previous rounds, there are no Civ bans. Liereyy, because he was seeded first in this tournament, he gets to start with the choice, and he's chosen Malians. And to those wondering, Liereyy is actually 15 years old. He might have had a birthday since Germany, but in Germany, we learned that he is 15 years old, not 17. But some big picks here for both players. Berbers and Burmese for Viper. He's on the right. On the left, Lierey's choosing Mayans, Indians, and Malians. These are the civs they're going to have to use for the best of 9. What's up, Sergeant Numbnuts? Welcome. Viper, the first to get 2 Meso-civilizations, going with Aztecs and Incas, and Magyars now for Liereyy. These are all very strong civs. No surprises here. It is because our love for each other is so big, the sounds cannot contain it. Okay, Huns now for Liereyy. These guys have been pretty quick with the civ selection. Britons now for Viper. I will talk about my predictions here, but chat, let's hear who you're rooting for, who you predict to win this one before the first game starts. Of course, it's all in Arabia. And now it gets more difficult to pick as Viper gets Ethiopians. I mean, they both have solid civs. I almost prefer Viper's civs over what Liereyy has right now, and Liereyy had the first pick. But, you know, it gets difficult after you choose the best civilizations and you get down to the final few. You don't know which ones you want to choose. And we also haven't seen best of 9s before. Liereyy did very well with Byzantines versus Hart. And Celts is not a surprising pick. Now Viper gets another choice here. Maybe Chinese we will see in the last 4. I think Chinese could work well. Chinese, Japanese still haven't been chosen. Franks, okay. Franks a good pick. Malay has not been chosen. There's Chinese. Malay has not been chosen yet, though I don't think top players really like the Malay. We could see Vikings as well. Persians maybe. Goths. Italians, okay. And Vikings. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, take a look. In fact, I will post this link here in the chat for you if you want to see it yourself. Take a look at this. Save this. These are the civs that they have to use for the best of 9 today. Now, again, if you're just getting here, thank you so much. Derps, thank you for the Prime sub. Devon, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the resubs and all the support that will come in today, guys. But Game 1 is going to be starting soon, and all the focus will be on casting this final. Is the biggest 1v1 tournament we've had in such a long time. So thank you all for being here. I'm very excited to see how this one will go. Personally, Liereyy is the only person in the world that can challenge Viper in the Escape Euro LAN. I was there up on stage casting with Viper to my right and Liereyy to my left. And it was a best of 3, and Viper won 2-1, but Liereyy won the first game. And a best of 9, it's potentially more difficult for Liereyy because there's more games that he would have to win. However, after watching his performance, even after that Euroland, and his performance versus the other players, he's so clinical, and he's the only player that's as solid as Viper, that's for sure. So, going into this tournament, Viper was 7th seed, and Liereyy was 1st seed. And yes, all 9 games will, well, it's a best of 9. The entire best of 9 will be finished today, so do not go anywhere. "90 seconds till the first game starts." They also do not know what civ the opponent is going to be using. They each have 9 civs. It makes it so difficult to guess. My prediction is a 5-3 win. Whether it's Liereyy or Viper, whoever wins, I predict a 5-3 win. But you gotta lean towards Viper because he has ice veins, guys. He does not waver at all. When it comes down to high pressure moments, he is always good at performing. Now, when I was in Europe, I was surprised at how cool and calm Liereyy was up on stage there as a 15-year-old. And the bets are for the entire series, and the bets have closed. So I know we have a lot of active people in the chat right now. Please remind people that the bets have been for the entire series. Should have a bunch of my mods here as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 1 of the King of the Desert Grand Finals. In the blue, we have Liereyy. Liereyy has chosen the Italians for Game 1. And Viper's in the red. Viper's playing as the Aztecs. So, to start this off, I'm so excited for this. It's an amazing tournament. And to finish it with Liereyy and Viper is just so exciting. To have so many people here already to cast this. Thank you all. Thank you, Age of Empires community, for being awesome. The fact that I can get on here, and we can all get on here and have so many people involved in the game that we love, and it continues to grow, is just so amazing. So thank you all. All of you watching the stream, all of you watching these events, that has really brought us a tournament like this, and brought us the prize pool like this. So I appreciate you guys so much, and thanks to Memb and Co. for organizing this. We'll start with Lierey's map, as Lierey's going to lure in his first deer. His main gold's here. He has another gold right next to that. And this is all very close to wood lines. He has a wood line above his TC, one right here, so he has a trifecta of wood lines. His stones are on the same side, but the only bad thing for Liereyy is the boar location. Other than that, this is a pretty easy map in the early game. He can build some nice close walls to his town center so he can push out and attack. Now, Viper, oh my goodness, Viper is going to steal 4 sheep here, and that's not necessarily down to the brilliance of Viper. That is down to the fact that Liereyy started luring the deer, was just banking on the fact that he would find those sheep. This could be incredibly bad for Liereyy, losing 4 sheep and having a boar so far away here. Big victory for Viper to start off this first game. His map is also quite good as Aztecs. 2 wood lines to choose from. Gold and stone is forward, but you have to imagine Viper will build out forward in this area. Viper will find his own sheep. He's going to have so many sheep to work with. I will say that Liereyy does have deer. If he wants to continue to lure deer, he can make it for the sheep loss. But then he's going to have to stay at home. And still Liereyy has not... okay, he's seen his boar. I'm sorry. But he's just bad scouting for Liereyy. A little bit greedy. I think you got to play it safer in the first game of the tournament. Alright, well, the boar goes down. And we'll see what Liereyy can do. Italians versus Aztecs is an interesting matchup. I have to favor the Aztecs, though. I think the Meso-civilizations are so important. Viper has 2, and there's just 1 then for Liereyy. So while Italians can up to the next stage a little bit earlier, and that might help Liereyy after losing the sheep, Aztecs, they can go for the 5 militia drush, which we saw a lot in classic Age of Conquerors. Or they could go for man-at-arms, and then they now go into Eagle Warriors pretty heavily. This is funny. Viper has so much sheep underneath his town center. And he doesn't know about these, so maybe Liereyy will find them later on. As the game goes on, I would probably favor the massed Eagle Warriors, but Italians do have good knights. And that's normally what you have to do versus those Eagle Warriors. It makes it a little bit easier to afford those when you can advance earlier. And so far, Liereyy has adapted nicely. Look at this. This boar finishing just in time. No wasted villager time here at all. Garrison the fill. Ungarrison on the boar. Perfect boar lore. Liereyy for sure knows that he has lost his sheep now. He's lost 4 of them, and he's going to go right to the deer. Start luring them in. Going to go with a barracks and a house. This looks like it's going to be a drush from Liereyy. Not necessarily drush fast castle. Because Liereyy before versus Hart and versus other players tends to drush, maybe go up with 3 or 4 extra villagers and then go feudal attack. While Viper, he has his barracks, and Viper is going to drush. And Viper should find these sheep as well, not to mention he can lure in deer. This is a great map for Viper to drush fast castle on. A little bit passive placement with his barracks and houses here. It would have been nicer if it was out here, and I feel like a player of Viper's quality would normally do that, but just look at the wall possibilities for him as the game goes on. And he already senses that, already placing a house next to the trees and the cliffs. If Viper walls between the edge of the map and this wood line, between the cliffs here and here, which he's working on now, and then we'll plug this gap, he'll have both of his stones and golds inside of his walls. And Viper now getting loom. Lierey's on the way up to Feudal Age. And making a few militia now. Looks like he will go for men-at-arms, so he's not going for a drush. And that really did not affect Lierey's uptime at all. In fact, pretty solid uptime, considering Liereyy lost the sheep. Made up for it by luring all the deer in. He lost 400 food with the sheep. I lured in 3 deer, I believe. 3 deer. 140 each. So, very, very close to making up for that. And that's why these guys really make it to this stage, because of their versatility. If something like that happens to other players, that might not be able to have a strong economy early on. And Liereyy, he's also trying to start the walls, and this is going to be success for Viper's rush. Viper might even be able to find a Vil pick. Liereyy definitely was expecting that to just be an Eagle Warrior. And Liereyy sees the walls at home from Viper, so he knows that this is probably what Viper's going for now. Should be pretty obvious to him, because the villagers are everywhere walling. And now all Viper really needs to do is distract, but Liereyy does need to attack. Liereyy has his man-at-arms on the way, or his militia on the way. Maybe he'll be able to kill Viper's villager here? He's going to hit Feudal Age now. I think Viper will have to run away. This could be huge if Liereyy gets in with man-at-arms. And Viper, he's desperately trying to save this villager. The villager is going to die. Liereyy will get in through the walls. Viper's placed all these walls. Oh, nice quick walls from Viper there. But still, Viper's placed all these walls so he can have a safe economy. And the man-at-arms will be strolling right in soon. And meanwhile, Liereyy with the nice early walls. As I said, this isn't a great walling for later on in this game, but certainly for now, it's nice for him. And Viper, he's going to run back home. But still, Viper in a fine position to wall up again. The man-at-arms can really only trouble the berries now. But Viper has given up access to his gold. He has a villager here who's not contributing anything. Probably would be smart to wall that off once his units come back. And Liereyy again being a pest with his scout. And he's going to try and stop the wall up. He needs to keep the scout over top of that house so Viper can't place a house here. And Liereyy is going to get in fact, very close to picking off that villager. Look at the harassment he's causing to the Viper. And normally, you're seeing Viper in the blue in this situation. You're not used to seeing Viper scramble like he is right now. But he's forced to straggler trees. He's forced out to the gold. The weak villager's still walled in. And I'd say this feudal attack has been worth it so far for Liereyy because Viper can't fast castle. Okay, he's going to trap this army in, but Liereyy just run right by. And the man-at-arms still have decent HP to continue to harass this woodline on the right. Nice job, Liereyy. Nice idea from Viper, but just was not able to execute enough. And he's going to have to add Blacksmith, and I guess he will go into the production of Eagles? Why Blacksmith? I don't know. Liereyy, he cannot go with the Eagles. He's going with stone walls back at home. He's done so much damage with just 3 men-at-arms and a scout. If he didn't contribute with the scout here, and if he didn't contribute with the scout here as well, men-at-arms would have done nothing. Viper has sent his drush back. Liereyy palisading Viper's straggler trees. That way they disappear, and the villagers then have to go to the woodline where his men-at-arms are. This should eventually die for Liereyy. It's just about getting a good trade. And you know, Viper's militia don't really mean too much to him right now. Viper's still open on this right-hand side. And Lierey's just booming up nicely. But what he has done is he's taken the map control, so he can stonewall his base. And he needs to make sure he doesn't leave any holes, as does Viper. And there's no rush for Liereyy. This is beautiful. A lot of players... I could actually talk about Hart versus Liereyy series for a second. Hart made a lot of Feudal Age military in those games, but oftentimes it was wasted because Liereyy hit Castle Age first. Both players actually playing very similar styles. It's almost like a Viper v Viper or a Liereyy v Liereyy matchup, so similar. And yeah, they recognize their situation and they're going to try to take this to Castle Age. Lots of resources for Liereyy. Viper is behind in resources. Also, his economy was not the best there as he was being attacked. He's even going to build a mill on the deer. Building an archery range now. And this is fantastic game sense, because neither player knows that there's no pressure coming their way. But both are assuming it based off the style of their opponent. But so far, so good for Liereyy, if you ask me. After losing the 4 sheep, he's had a very strong game. This is pretty even now. Viper really doesn't have a Vil lead. It's just that he didn't research Wheelbarrow yet, and Liereyy already researched that. Liereyy gonna hide his stables, which I like. Hopefully there's no holes here. That would be disappointing. I'm sure Liereyy checked, but sometimes you'll find weird holes in between buildings when they're on the hill like that. Someone mentioning the possibility of Viper tree hopping here. Well, I don't see what the tree hop would really offer him in this situation. The Viper doesn't have any feudal army, but that's a funny idea. Both players full walled. The Viper still needs to plug that gap. The difference is that Liereyy has stone walls, though. This would be the most vulnerable area for him because of the houses and because of the palisade, but he'll have stables behind. Lierey's clicked up the Castle Age first. Viper will be there in no time, I'm sure. Now, I kind of like the fact that Viper has added these archers. He's probably going to need to go eagles and crossbows, maybe even monks versus the knights that Liereyy will throw his way. But I like the fact he's sending some units out to get map control now. Force Liereyy to wall more. Maybe fire over top of the walls if he gets lucky and kill a villager. There's also a tree hop possibility here. I agree with you, Roach. I don't think that they should wall with trees. You could see a tree hop there. It would have been easier just to place a wall there to play it safe if you're Liereyy. But here he is now walled behind the tree. And I assume he's forgotten about the trees, but Viper has not scouted that side yet, so he doesn't know about it. And archers are here. The benefit to Viper's army is that he can create the archers in the feudal age and upgrade them, and he can create the eagles in the feudal age and upgrade them as well. Viper, interestingly enough, is on stone. I wonder why he's trying to collect more stone than 200. Huh. Maybe because he wants to add stone walls. That's the only explanation I can think of. More walls for Liereyy behind. And he's only on one stable now. And he has a pretty good map to build TCs. Town center here. Probably would have to build the next town center there if he wants it to be decent. A Viper gonna go forward with a siege workshop or a monastery, most likely. Does not have a lot of archers. But they will get upgrades, and they will have Viper Micro. I don't know if I agree with Lierey's decision. I think what he's going to do now is go heavier on the boom, and then build a defensive castle. And maybe he will counterattack with the knights if he gets an opportunity. But he probably assumes Viper's going to have the crossbows. Maybe assumes Viper's going to have eagles and monks out here. So he doesn't want to invest in a lot. Even adding a market now to balance his economy. But second TC on the way up for Liereyy. Viper now building his second TC. And he's going to stay on just 2 TCs for now. Okay, there's 3 for him. Again, very good map for Viper to boom in after those early walls. Lots of space. And now the crossbows are going to have a decent amount of success here. I mean, this might not seem like a big deal, but I don't see why Liereyy didn't stonewall all of this earlier, because Viper's gotten in. He's killed a villager with crossbows. He's going to delay these farms too. Okay, that's a victory that Liereyy shouldn't have given Viper there. It all adds up at this level. Now Viper's a vill ahead. I guess the question is, if Lierey's heavy on stone now, and Viper is not going for that early castle, and he's 3 TCs, will Viper get enough of an eco lead while he's collecting just mainly wood, food, and gold where he can win this game? The Knight's going to clean up the militia, but if anything, this is a blessing for Viper because now he knows these units are here. Chain barding armor on the way for Liereyy, and more Knights arriving. Viper does have a monastery, no monk here yet, but it's coming in now. The Viper going to micro down that Knight before the +2 defense. And he's going to continue to micro this, I imagine, because there's no bloodlines, and now he has a monk, and Liereyy will have to scramble away. He lost a knight and a half pretty much there. Has the stone for his castle now. Still on 2 town centers. Just 1 stable. He's, okay, built 3 town centers, castle on the hill, okay. But I don't like the position Liereyy has put himself in. I liked the walls here, but I was expecting him to be a bit more aggressive. To be honest, it's hard to be aggressive versus Aztecs because they have a strong economy and they have the strong monks. And Italians also just would be out of options. But what Liereyy has done here is he's turtled up a little bit and given the best player in the world free reign over the map. Now Viper is collecting the relics. He's building quite a few monks, actually. The Viper's going to want to get this relic. But he will have 2 here in a moment with the Aztec relic bonus. He'll even have 3, I believe. I don't know where that was. Yep, there we go. That extra gold will pay off. 17 military for Viper. Getting the monk upgrades now. Not investing in a lot more crossbows. I would say this is definitely worth it for him. These guys are so good. Just those small victories from Viper. Killing a Vil. Getting a conversion. Getting the relics. All that stuff adds up. And let's see if Liereyy puts himself in a bad position here. He's way too close to Viper. He needs to delete this knight, I think. Unless, yep, he's deleted it. That was going to be converted. And he also lost a knight as well. Now Viper's going with the Siege Workshop. He wants to maintain his control here. He hasn't seen that castle just yet. But the poor thing is for the Italians, the Genoese crossbow don't offer much versus the Aztecs. So this castle is purely a defensive move for Lierey's economy. The Viper sees it now. The Viper could still pressure on this side. One thing I love to see from the Italians are the condos. I have not seen a lot of condos because we didn't see a lot of Italians in this tournament. I feel like Liereyy has chosen the Italians not because it's his best civ, but because it's the first game. He didn't want to waste his best civilization in the first game and potentially lose with it. He wants to save some civs for later. Now, still Viper's somewhat blind here. He doesn't know what Lierey's doing behind his walls. There's the Mangonel. He'll try and pressure, force Lierey's hand. 2 stables for Liereyy, and he did research light cav, though I haven't seen any light cav being queued up. Maybe considering it because of the amount of monks that Viper has. But maybe he'll wait till the Imperial Age to do so. So now Liereyy will go for another castle because he sees the stone wall. Will probably go down in time. But luckily there's no hole there. You gotta check for the holes. One hole could change everything. And that'll go up for Liereyy. He's housed at the moment. A little sloppy for him. He's feeling under pressure. Knights going next to the monasteries. Viper's on the way to the Imperial Age before Liereyy. Viper has 3 relics. Viper has good map control. Viper even has an extra villager right now. But there we go. Lierey's clicked up. Neck and neck game, to be honest. We're just going to have to see what Viper goes with in the Imperial Age. I mean, if he continues to add the monks, in theory, he could be countered by the light cav. If he adds Eagle Warriors, then he could be countered by any knights. If he adds the archers, Italians maybe will go condos and siege. Viper's searching for this relic. He has seen it. Lierey's just trying to keep Viper from getting any more relics. And yeah, this is a fight. Liereyy needs to delete these knights. Like now. Delete them. There we go. He's deleted them. Lost another knight. Great job from Viper. You know, I could have easily made the argument for Viper just to boom up here and not go for 2 monasteries, which seems like an investment. But he's added even more monks. He's so good, he can add the crossbows now. And he can control all of this while still maintaining a perfect economy. Liereyy does have the light cav, massing them more. Still somewhat heavy on stone. And now he's building a barracks, and this indicates he will go for the condos, which are very strong with full upgrades. Very, very strong with full upgrades versus archers. Now, in my opinion, I think this is the time where Liereyy needs to try and pick off some monks. Viper has the crossbows accompanying this, but if either player were to take a fight, it would be before the upgrades come in on the units. Only 8 kills and 8 deaths for Liereyy. Neither player wanting to commit too much in this first game in a best of 9. And Hussar immediately for Liereyy once he hits him. He was hovering over the stable to click it. He was not wasting any time here. So it's going to be Arbalest, Monks, and Rams for Viper. This is similar to what we've seen in Aztecs in this situation in the past, actually. We're not going to see the Eagle Warriors. And now Viper probably going to build a castle in an offensive position. And this right here, you see this. It's 33 minutes. This right here is what wins games between 2 players of this quality. Viper has taken the map control. Viper's not wasting any time getting the extra golds. So we need to focus on this. Watch the minimap, as these extra golds are already being taken by Viper. Now, I think Viper's in a much better position. Hussars, I mean, it depends on the condos, really, because the Hussars will die to the Arbalest. Viper will be able to heal with his monks and get conversions. So it's pretty much Hussars versus the Monks, and then Condos versus the Archers. Again, this is something that Liereyy cannot see at the moment. But he definitely knows his situation, and it's getting cramped in here. He needs more houses. And this is actually giving Viper time to transition and added more units himself. You can see him getting infantry upgrades now, getting monk upgrades as well. This is going to be good. Now, look at this. Liereyy knows this gold is probably taken by Viper. He has vills out here building outposts, or one vill. I think he's looking for the extra golds as well, but he should have scouted for them earlier. But here's the fight. The Condos going to run away, let the Hussars go in. Now, Hussars going after the Monks. These Monks have a lot of HP, and the Hussars are dying to the Arbalest. Now, I guess the question is, if that many Monks went down as Viper got a few conversions, can Liereyy feel confident in engaging this? He didn't have any armor upgrades on the Condos, so I think the answer is no, and Viper's going to force him to engage. Viper building some barracks now. He's going to actually create pikemen, which is interesting. And Trebuchet's here for him, and he's attacking this castle. Liereyy is behind in villagers. He's behind in map control. The Viper even finding that villager out here. Now Lierey's trying to get out to this gold, but Viper's already on both of them. So that pretty much means Liereyy needs to win this fight now, because if he doesn't win this fight, if it's 50-50, you got to give the advantage to Viper, who is tech switching now into the champion line. So the clock is ticking for Liereyy in game 1. He still doesn't see that Viper's transitioning into champions. But even if they're just longswords and the Arbalests are behind, Viper should have a huge lead in these fights. Lierey's going to wait for the final armor upgrade and take the engagement, I think. And Viper going to build... Yeah, he's going to build a castle here on this gold. Running away now because Lierey's sending over Hussars. And Lierey's still... Okay, just found out about that gold, but... You know, he put himself in this position. It's very defensive. It's hard for him to take this one. It's hard for him to scout around the map. Gave Viper that map control. One could argue it was the civs as well, but we'll see. I guess Viper's not attacking anything too important for Liereyy right now. He's not attacking the castle. He's attacking the barracks. He knows it's going to be condos. Viper's going to have almost all full upgrades on his two-handed swordsman. Viper might have the resources for that next castle. Yep, that'll help out in this engagement. Some nice cover fire. Small fights going on over here. Viper going to send units to this gold. It'll still keep Liereyy off of that. And I don't know. It just seems like Liereyy feels as though he needs to wait. But the longer he waits, Viper is going to have more and more units here to counter what Liereyy has. The Viper has 4 relics, his Aztecs, and you know what? Maybe Liereyy just wants to take the top of the hill. Viper might not be expecting it. Okay, Liereyy will have the top of the hill. This is before the champion upgrade comes in and before ballistics comes in for the Arbalest. Let's see how these condos do. This is a fight that Liereyy needs to win or the game is over. And oh my goodness, the cleanup has been nice so far. The Hussars went immediately for the monks. The monks have gone down. Liereyy has the military lead. Lierey's going to clean this up. Look at the score closing in. Now it's going to be champions versus condos, and Viper even adding some Jaguar warriors. But that was a great cleanup for Liereyy, maybe giving him momentum on the left-hand side so he can get that gold again. Because it's not over for him yet. Viper still can create more champions. He will slowly clean this up. Liereyy doesn't have a lot of resources, but look at the condos go on this side. Liereyy desperately needs to get the other golds now. Viper's still in a fantastic position. But that was the fight that Liereyy needed. With the Aztec relic bonus. And now Viper's even selling resources to get more gold. You still gotta think Viper should be able to win the fight if they take it again. But out here he's gonna lose a Trebuchet. Yeah, I mean still Viper just replenished his numbers. He has more gold available to him now. And Liereyy doesn't have the resources to replenish numbers like Viper does. And the champions will finally have full upgrades. They will have Garland Wars. So 13 plus 8 attack now. And you'll notice Liereyy doesn't have the condo numbers because he doesn't have the resources. Just shows you the strength of condos, I guess. Lierey's going to get the gold, but he's still going to have to continue to hold here and can't take Viper's castle out. Viper is still going to be stubborn in this position. Viper slightly fighting uphill here, but I think his champions are strong enough now where he should even be able to take a fight there underneath the castle. He's lost the trebuchet. Both players have 2 trebuchets now. Condos are such a good unit. Arguably somewhat overpowered. That was a crazy fight they took earlier, but I struggle to find any reason to believe the Viper's going to lose this game. Liereyy needs to hold for the next 10-15 minutes and get the golds that Viper's already taken. Viper actually prioritized these golds over the golds at his own base because he knows if he needs to fall back to these, it's going to be so easy. And that's a good game 1 there for you, ladies and gentlemen. Viper with the early lane, stealing, excuse me, stealing the 4 sheep, and then just strangling Liereyy more and more as the game went on. The talking points that we addressed here will be consistent throughout all the games, though, because it is Arabia. The same elements apply. You would, in theory, think that Liereyy should be able to access these golds easier, as they are somewhat closer to him. But Viper took the map control, Viper took the hills, and Viper got the relics. And even though he lost that fight, it wasn't really a loss in a sense because he had so many resources to replenish and his opponent didn't. But I'll tell you what, after all the sweeps we saw with Viper and Liereyy, all the best of 7s, best of 5s where they destroyed their opponent, that was a very good first game. And for us viewers, it's going to be entertaining here. There's the kill death for you all. This is really what won Viper the game. A lot extra gold. And everything else is fairly close with the uptimes. Okay, guys. Game 2 coming up. Score has been updated. Welcome, everybody. I know a lot more people are joining the stream now. Actually, well over 1,000 people here. Thank you all. Thank you for the subs coming in as well. I don't have the alerts up, and yet it's still making noises because I'm such a noob.